So they got me. They got me. Yeah, boomer sooner. They got me. Apparently the copyright strike came for me. Apparently that's what happened. I don't even know what part that it went off on. I have no idea. I just looked up and had 0 people watching. So yeah, the copyright strike, all that came from me. Well, I don't know if to call it copyright strike. I don't know if there's going to be some strikes, but an issue nonetheless. I'm assuming the chick probably saw it. I think you get notified when somebody uses your shit. And because I was using her videos, think she got notified and she put in a claim or something. I'm looking at the copyright situation right now to try to see if I see anything here. So I'm not seeing nothing on my end, on my channel. I don't know. They just took it down. That's all I know right now. I barely know how this worked. The only other time that this ever happened to me is when I was doing something on the 4 Washed Up Divas. They call it Cocktail with Queens or whatever, but they call it that, Vivica Fox and Lisa Ray and their names, Vivica Fox, Lisa Ray, Claudia Jordan, who I never heard of into that shit, and the one that I like the most, Selena Johnson. Yeah, Selena Johnson. They when I say I like the most, I mean I like her music. Her music is her music ain't bad. But yeah, Ty City, they own me. He says they own your ass, Bernard. Yeah, they own me. They own me. I got the feds watching. Yeah, I'm about to let you up, Ed. I see that. That was a game plan because I was pretty much done. I don't know if y'all made it to the part where she was complaining about Chris Brown only liking light-skinned women. And I was like, really, nigga? Like, that was the part that blew me away, and that's where I was planning on stopping the video. I was planning on stopping the video right there at the Chris Brown part, because she was like, and yeah, I know Chris Brown's history, and I thought she was about to talk about his abuse of women, but she was like, and he only deal with light-skinned women. He used to say no darkies or something when he would have his parties or this or that or blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, are you serious? Are you serious? This man, who other than singing and doing the sideways moonwalk, I think that's what it's called. Other than that shit, wait, no, that's Usher that does the little sideways moonwalk thing. Anyway, I'm stupid. Damn, I need to quit. Oh shit, my man. Okay, well, first off, let me shout out Igbo Kwinu. I think I said that right. YouTube on some bullshit. Shout out and salute to you. But who I'm trying to find Black Wolf Inc. said it's no problem, Bernie. Let's keep it rolling. Absolutely. And boom, that's my man right there. Oh, he need more of Male Enlightenment TV. You're doing yourself a disservice if you ain't subscribed to this man. He says, they got me like that too, family. People can report your video and they will shut you down. Also, you use videos, but 30 seconds at a time. Yeah, you know what? That's what I used to do when I used to make my pre-recorded content. But ever since I've been going live, sometimes, you do a long-ass live stream, you can get away with throwing a long clip in there. I do it all the time, but, they went bullshitting today, or she shut it down, or however it worked. But yeah, Ohini Mora. I'm probably fucking. Damn, hold on, I'm probably fucking up your name. I never quite got it right, but I remember the second video I made. I made a video picking apart some Derek Jackson shit, and I used a meme that he created, a meme that I guess it sort of went viral online because I just randomly saw it. and I used that meme as a spring. No, Derek Jackson used that meme and botched it and misrepresented it. So I made a video responding to the bullshit Derek Jackson said, and Male Enlightenment TV saw that and was like, "Yo, bro, I created that meme. I like this video. I only had like 50 subs at the time, and I think he only had like barely 1,000 at the time. Then he made his video, and he made his video and linked my video to it, and his video had shot up and I don't know, got like 10,000 views. Whenever he got a view, I got a view because he linked my video, and then I picked up a bunch of subs from that. So my first little wave of subs, long before I was doing this live streaming thing, my first little wave of subs, yeah, it came from him. So I always remember that brother for that, man. He kind of jump started me a little bit. This was many moons ago, long before I started going live. But he kind of gave me my first audience with a shout out. So always appreciate that, brother. And thank you for your super chat support. I think the super chat support just made you a moderator. The link in the chat if you want to come up. I got some other. I got Edward Anderson and JoJo in here. If you want to come up, Ohini Mora. I hope I'm saying your name right. I'll be botching the hell out your name every time I try to say it.
Yes, I'll be up for just a little bit. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Let me see. Let me shout out a couple more super chats. I'm gonna pass it to Ed and see what Ed got on this one. But like I said, one last time, you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not subscribed to Male Enlightenment TV. I'm gonna drop your link in the chat for those people who may or may not be subscribed to you. He do show the Real Pill with Black Ram. So yeah, you got to check him out. All right. Getting shut down by YouTube means you're official now. Hell yeah. I'll take that. Dark Knight Mentality says, yes, Male Enlightenment TV is the truth. Got to sub to him. Brothers, keep that train going, man. They can't stop this red pill revolution. Salute and shout out to you, Dark Knight Mentality. All right. Let's keep this rolling. Let's keep this thing rolling. We're gonna pass it to Ed. And Ed, I know you got a lot to say on this one. You can go ahead and dig all the way in, man. The flow is yours. Pick it up wherever you want to.
Yeah, so one of the things that I want to start with is the reason why women don't like to really engage Jews on this topic like that is that they understand at a fundamental level that this is some shallow shit, this is some pathetic shit, and this is it's basically an ugly girl argument shit. This shit removes these dudes ain't doing shit. Like, these dudes are like, I'm not attracted to these dudes. These are only dudes that women cry colorism about are the dudes they're attracted to. Mm-hmm. So this is an interesting way of engaging this argument, because then you get to see the pathologies on how women view competing, completely removed and devoid from what dudes are doing. And what you really see is basically that at the end of the day, they don't feel like they have to compete. They feel like the attention is obligated. The truth is,
time out, bro. You got to change that picture, man. That's distracting. Do that. Team No Rabies. I can't do it, man. All right, thank you. I appreciate that. All right, carry on, Ed. I couldn't do it with that picture. It was distracting, man. I can't. Now, come on now.
Well,
the Corona condom. All right, carry on. Okay.
Well, just like, I mean, so at the end of the day, let's start with the first part. Like, black men are the gatekeepers. The reality of the situation is, rap music is not for black women and their fucking egos. Rap music is a business. It's designed to make money. And obviously, when you are a black man, a black male, then you have to make a video that everybody's going to appeal to. Rap music is not an affirmative action program for black female egos. That's not what it's about. Even comparing rap music to an ism. What about these little kids? First of all, I would say straight up, if you knowingly are allowing your child under, I would argue 14 years old, but let's say under 10 years old, to watch rap music, you're a fucking bad mother. Let's start there. So even the mentality of saying, looking at a rap video as a means for them to empower themselves, especially the girls, you're a fucking horrible mom. That's what you're a horrible mom, you're a horrible fucking auntie, you're a horrible cousin. Like real fucking talk. This is why these chicks are out here twerking. This is why these little girls are out here twerking and thinking that shit's cool and being on pose. And you may not be doing that, but just to make the statement of looking for, because at first I thought she was going to expand it to a greater Hollywood thing and TV shows. So I said, okay, maybe you could say that, but she actually kept it at rap music.
Right.
And she was like, oh, we got to be the pretty vixen versus the girlfriend. And in videos, I'm like, you watching rap videos way too much. This is 2020. Motherfuckers are not watching rap videos like that. Most of these rap videos are just cell phone shot shit. They're not like the rap videos in the 90s, in the golden age, where these were actual movie productions. Like that, it's not like that anymore. This stuff is like, I mean, it's not like that anymore because, again, a lot of folks are doing it for social media attention. And then as far as the getting paid stuff with the vixens, folks know how much being in a music video can do for a chick's career. That's why a lot of these chicks, their video vixens will low-key have OnlyFans accounts. So they already know what the attention can actually do. So they will actually say, look, you're getting on this video. There's plenty of other women who'll do it for less. The era of the vixen is really over now for the most part. Because even the bigger vixens know that the attention that you get from being a bigger person's video is worth the money. So they don't even get paid what they used to even back in the day with the Melissa Ford and stuff like that. But anyway, I'll end it with this because I know there's other people on here who has an opinion, and then I'll jump back on it. This thing that Black women have a tendency to do, which is try to convert shallow shit into an ism or a social movement. It's some pathetic ass shit, and it really needs to stop. The real issue here is Black women have a conflict with their gynocratic and feminist tendencies, and they haven't squared that with their own biology and their need for their femininity to be validated. And the problem is Black men do not have to validate your femininity. 50 Cent does not have to validate your femininity. These rappers do not. Nobody's asking you to fucking support these rappers. Nobody's asking you to fucking buy their albums. You all buy it anyway. The same reason nobody asked y'all to validate Cardi B. The same reason that Black women don't validate a Marilyn Negro. O'Shea just did a video on how when a Marilyn Negro took that wig off, they were coming for her about her forehead and shit. And I'm like, they did the same thing with what her name, Gabby Giffords on the Olympics. Before Simone Biles, when she was kicking ass and taking names, they talked about her edges. And black females are the ones that y'all have these colorism issues. Men are just as likely fuck a dark-skinned chick as they are a light-skinned chick. The difference is, and if you look at the baby mothers these dudes have, they're usually dark-skinned chicks. Even 50 got like 1 or 2 dark-skinned baby mamas. Same thing with Future. So this idea that Black women being held up from money, being held up from sexual access, what they're being held up from is attention, and they're upset because they keep on wanting to blame Black men for this shit too, which is getting on my fucking nerves. They will use this. I'm gonna say this and I'm done. They will use this as a reason for why they have an attitude with Black men they're not sexually attracted to. So my thing is, this is between you and a Black man that you're sexually attracted to. But you're not going to do shit but bitch and complain. You're still going to fuck these dudes. You're still going to want their attention. So there's really no incentive. And I would ask this too. Where is the incentive? Assuming colorism exists exactly how Black women say it. What the fuck? Where the fuck is the incentive for Black men, whether you are getting bitches or you're not getting bitches, to give any kind of fucks about what a chick says about colorism? That's what I need a woman to explain to me. What incentive? What are you doing that you would not do it if you got your ego validated? Because I don't see it. But anyway, I'll leave it with that and leave it to the other folks.
All right. Yeah, good shit, Ed. Good shit. Roastmaster 1, thank you for that. Came through heavy-handed with a $50 cash app. I appreciate that. We're gonna go
pushback, but you can go to Zelle.
You got some pushback on that? All right, cool. I'm gonna go to Joe. Well, I'm gonna go in order. So just hopefully you got time.
Oh yeah, because I want to hear the pushback. I love it. Yeah.
Ed want all that smoke. So go ahead. So just sit on it for a little bit, Judge. I'm gonna go in order. Jojo, you got it. Joe going once.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, you good. Go
Hello?
ahead. You got the floor. You got the floor. You got the
Okay.
mic.
All right. Yeah, I was just gonna say, now this is my thing with this whole video vixen thing. I actually think it's a good thing that the black girl's not getting seen in a negative light, because this is the thing. The majority of society look at black women in a bad light anyway. Like even my generation, we always talk about this. I'm starting to see a lot of more dudes my age with gills a different color. Like, but this is the thing. Rollo Tomasi got this book called The Rational Male, and I just want to just go on one thing he said. Women had this thing called competition anxiety. When they see what the majority of men is leaning towards, they realize that their sexual market value is starting to plunder. Now, with that being said, you got some dudes wondering, like, why would they want to be seen as hoes, blah, blah, blah. It ain't that. They want to be seen by somebody so that they can still feel relevant. But they know that their sexual market value is starting to dwindle because of the way that their behavior is. So now they trying to basically, the tactic they using is getting everybody to feel sorry for them instead of just changing the behavior and portraying themselves in a good light. I'm gonna just be honest, man. Y'all have to realize black men are getting tired, bro. They getting tired. I mean, ain't nothing. Look, every dude like a fat ass and some titties, but it's just like, if that's all it is, I mean, what if you ain't bringing nothing of value, you just gonna be. I mean, it is what it is. And as far as getting seen by, seen in rap videos with girls of different skin tones, stuff like that, you can't blame a man for what they like. The same women who saying he doing colorism is the same women who wear makeup that's a tone or two lighter than their regular skin. You can't get mad when a man do the exact same thing that you do. You making yourself lighter, and he got a lighter girl in the video. It's essentially the same thing. If we make it a comparison, y'all have to stop trying to get y'all trying to get men to be pseudo masculine attack dogs when it's convenient for y'all, and we not doing that shit.
Right
And
on.
y'all just got to realize that. But that's all I wanted to say. I'm still being discussed. I just wanted to put that out there.
All right, cool. Thanks, JoJo. Green Machine. What's going on?
Yo. Appreciate you having me on. Anyway, what's up for to the rest of the panel? What's up to the chat? You know, keep those cash apps and whatnot rolling in for Bernard because he's doing
Appreciate it.
doing the work.
Appreciate it.
Well, what I would like to add to it is basically, I mean, to kind of go off of what Joe was saying and also what Edward was talking about. I mean, what chick in a right mind wants to be objectified? What chick in a right mind wants to be portrayed like that when at the same time you're sitting there complaining about being over sexualized and things of that nature? I mean, at the end of the day, you can't eat your cake and have it too. You know what I mean? And it's like it's ridiculous. And then also to state the fact that last time I checked, it's not the men that run around with this whole colorist thing. It wasn't my grandpa or it was the grandmas and the moms. Oh well, he too dark skinned. You need to throw him out and get somebody else. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's not
Before
it's
the
not
90s, that's what it was. Absolutely.
right. So it's like and it's funny because it not only happens in America, but it happens in other countries that they have a large black population, pretty much like a Brazil. It's praised when you go outside of the race and get lighter and bring it into the fold. So I think it's totally preposterous. I mean, if you want to really have an argument for that, you should have an argument for that particular ideology and something that's constructive, not something that makes you seem like a sexual deviant that the rest of the world thinks that you are. And not only that, hurting your brand further and also making us as black men look even worse than what we already look. And that's it.
Right on. Thank you very much for your commentary. Now, Jugzilla, you said you had some pushback. I'm glad about that. I love pushback. I love some debate. I don't know if your pushback was towards me or what Ed said, but
it seems to be the kind of the consensus of the panel, because look, here at Jedzilla the Beast busted down Eagle Pop and Twerk Academy, and Town Services. Look, I have seen my revenue drop significantly, 15 to 20% year after year over year since the early 2000s. I scour TikTok, Vine, what used to be Vine, the Shade Room, World Star Hip Hop, Facebook, to get the highest quality of dark skinned twerking eagle and busted down qualified applicants. And I provide a quality service to the hip hop rap industry, in which I provide these dark skinned women to go up upon these. That is the nature of the business that I am in, sir. That is the nature. And for this buffoonery of coonery that comes across to start employing these others, these Euros and these churros.
Okay, so you trolling.
These Euros and these churros and these buy rabies. Like, it's appalling in my estimation here. It's appalling. The dark skinned woman is just as capable as busting it down, letting the eagle pop, and twerking it off as any other woman in society. Okay. And not only that, we have to understand the historical context in which busting it down, twerking, and getting that eagle bone. You understand this comes from Africa, don't you?
All right, I'm done.
All right, yeah, I mean, because I'm kind of on a time limit. That's why I thought you really had to say. But I mean, I will say this too, just to answer some of the stuff Joe was talking about.
We'll go back to that, Judge.
You gotta realize that Black women have a need to validate their femininity in this society, and the thing about it is, women cannot validate their own femininity. Does it? Feminism has told them they could. Feminism lied to them. And no matter how gynocratic Black women as a collective group are, their first thing is to have it validated by white men. This is why even when Vivica said the dumb shit about, oh, well, you need, oh no, my bad, I'm listening. O'Shea did a video. That's what I'm talking about. Talk about with 50 you want a woman that'll lay down and not one that won't challenge you. I'm like, in America, there is no female in America that is afraid of challenging a man at some level. It may be the degree and impoliteness of it, or if they're more polite about it. But there is no white woman, no woman of value to just straight up laying down in America. That's not America culture anymore. It's just about, are they more passive aggressive about it? Are they nicer about it? Or do they know how to be assertive versus be bitchy about it? But there is nobody in America really. I mean, ain't nobody dating Asians like that. And even the Asians that are second, third generation are not just shutting the fuck up, spoken to. Unless, So even that argument is a bullshit argument. So my point is, when Black women talk about how, Black men are afraid of challenge shit, that just validates everything that folks are trying to say. The reality of the situation is Black women have a need for their femininity to be validated, and they look to the fucking television to do it, which is childish and it's sad. And also what I would say too is, what about, it ain't like it's just a dark skin repertoire on Nicki Minaj's channel on fucking Cardi B shit. Like, they have some Black women. It ain't like it's just nothing but Black women there. Or if it is, it's because they contrast them. The last thing I'll say too is, let's say colorism exists exactly how they say it. Again, I'm curious to what y'all got to say on this panel. Where is the incentive for Black men to get bitches and Black men that don't get bitches? Where's the incentive for us to give any kind of fucks about it? Your femininity being validated is a privilege given to by women that the men either say have a high price in a patriarchal system, or the women that actually comply. And basically, beauty is what we value. So so we set the price. And that is really what Black women have an issue with. Black women have a fundamental issue with Black men telling them what their value is and them having no other way of en-routing that. That is the issue of colorism.
Edward, this the thing.
Hold on, Joe. No, good shit, Ed. Good shit, Ed. I do got to hear what SKC got to say on this one. But before we go to SKC, I got to hear it again, Judge. What was the name of that academy?
Judgezilla the Beast, Busted Down, Eagle Out, and Twerk Academy.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Bernard. 10 more seconds, real quick, because I'm about to hop off. So 10 more seconds. Another thing too is the reason why you see the prevalence of hoe culture in the Black community. It's in America, but the Black community in particular is because women don't understand the difference between over sexualization and femininity. They have been taught to hold themselves. We're not even talking about who they fucking. We're just talking about the image of what they do. When you look at like how non-Black women go, like just compare how Latin women go about trying to turn up the sexual energy versus how Black women go about turning up the sexual energy. Black women really don't know how to do it from a feminine standpoint. They only know how to do it from a world star hip hop, twerk, city girls, very low class, whorish. This is why when they always talk about third world bitches, I'm like, the third world bitches don't be doing the shit y'all do. Like, are you serious? Like, they don't know how to do it. Right. So all this whore shit, all this hoe shit, all this stripper culture shit, this Megan Thee Stallion shit, this Cardi B shit they lean to, that's their only view as to what femininity is, which just goes to tell you how much their mothers have fucking absolutely failed them. Anyway, I'll hop off to give y'all some breathing room, but appreciate it.
All right, yeah, thanks, Ed. No, I know. When I came up with this topic, I wanted to hear what you had to say on it. But so I'm glad you came up and dropped some fire on us. But it's a couple things. Damn, something else I was about to say. But anyway, Black Wolf Inc. He's like, thank you for the super chat. And he says you recovered your original audience in 20 minutes. So I do want to give a thanks and shout out to everybody that was here. I got shut down. I was breaking down the video on by a smaller YouTuber named Bianca Boyd, but she made a video complaining about why Black women are not featured in rap videos, and I was using that springboard off of this whole 50 Cent controversy, where I said they're essentially complaining about not being objectified enough, and then she even it got cut off right at the point where she was complaining about Chris Brown not wanting to be or having a preference for lighter skinned women. Like you're practically complaining because darker skinned women aren't getting punched out by Chris Brown enough. I mean, like come on. But anyway, we got Judge. You killed it, man. You killed it with that.
Look. This is my industry. I have 4 generations invested in this. Okay, 4 generations of women who have been regularly, eagle out, busting it down, and twerking in public venues for literally 4 generations. Before the internet, my girls were represented upon videotapes and VHS collections of if you will, video mixtapes.
Now
this is ridiculous.
Your business is falling apart now. They're not employing you.
All these euros and churros, man. All these euros and churros.
All right, Leo Anthony said these colors and crybabies stay saying men like light-skinned women and white women because of self-hate, but never want to talk how bleaching your skin or using filters is a clear-cut example of self-hate. I was about to do a stream on this. I gotta go to SKC because I know he probably got some crazy shit to say. So I gotta go to SKC. I'll briefly touch on this. I'll probably do a whole stream on this. But see, I don't get into the whole colorism thing. I don't care to talk about it that much. But I will say this as somebody who used to spend a lot of time on Tinder. As somebody who used to spend a lot of time on the dating apps. It was a literal thing where you may meet a woman online on Tinder. Yeah, meet up to go out on a date, whether it's, the coffee date or go out for drinks, or you're taking her on a nice real date. Either way, many of them would show up, and the woman that you met through pictures online was either brown skin or light skin. Then when she showed up on the date, a dark skinned woman, got out the car or got in your car, and it was like, whoa, not a problem that she's dark skinned, but just a problem that you literally filtered out all your pictures, all of them, like not just one here and there, not just put on the filter with the cat face and dog tongue and doggy nose and all that stuff, and you happen to be lighter on that one. But no, every picture top to bottom on your profile, you had all of them filtered out to the point to where when you showed up, you showed up a completely different skin tone than what I expected.
Well, yes, of course. Look, Bernard, at my academy, we teach that. That's we refer to that as shadow boxing.
Why Scucho said priorities of some black women, shaking my head. I mean, Osama Abdul, you said something to me about hopping on the panel, man. It's an open panel today, so you ever want to hop on, man? It's on. Yeah, just take the link. But what he says, Ed, love your intellect, but you always speak your part, and then you have little time to speak, but go on forever. Get out of there, man. Get out of there. Oh, shit. I see people. I see J.I. and Black Uru in the chat. I'm about to bring y'all in a little bit too. He said, but you're going forever. Then leave when someone has to reply. Quite disingenuous, disrespectful on the panel. I don't think Ed do that. I do think he'd be having little time to speak, but then go on forever. Or he say, I'm just going to be 1 minute, and then he's going to be 5 minutes. And then he say, I'm going to say this and I'm done. And then he go on for another 5 minutes. He does do that, but I don't think it's disingenuous or disrespectful. I just think that's just how Ed talk. And he
got ADHD.
When Ed got time, he normally stay on there. I don't think he leaves when somebody's gonna reply. Ed always wants to smoke. So that's the part I disagree with. Talking, having long run-on paragraphs. Yes, Ed is guilty of that. He would admit that. But Ed don't run from the smoke. Ed wants to smoke. So that part I can't agree with. But well, who else? My man New came through with a super chat. He said, "Does Zilla?" Don't even answer Judge Zilla. He said, "Does Judge Zilla have scholarships?" Don't even answer. I gotta go to SK. No. We gonna come back to that.
Okay, all right. Look,
SKC. Oh shit, man, y'all killing me today.
I see a beige man just can't advertise his business.
Yeah, man, trying to hold the beige brother down. But all right, SKC, go.
Well, we just have some questions. I'm over here. I got a lot of messages that came through here over at the Kunocracy. We have questions for the CEO and sole proprietor of Turn Up Eagle Bust Down and Twerk Academy. The first question we had for you, Judge, was for the class of 2021, will you be featuring some really dark meat?
Well, we tend to highlight our the darkest of. That's what we tend to highlight and bring into the industry. But the industry has thus of the last 10 to 15 years been rejecting our product en masse. We're not understanding the change in the market. It was so easy back in the day to get on a Public Enemy video. Tribe Called Quest video, Roots video. The change in the industry is just striking and appalling. I say the Euros, the Churros, the Buy Rabies, they're just taking up all the business, and it's just ridiculous. There are some very talented dark-skinned women, and their cheeks clap just as well as the others.
Man, that's sad. We're very sad to hear that. Another question that one of our guys was asking was, do you have a sponsor? Because they have a connect with Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben, just in case.
We are offering no sponsorship positions or no sponsorships at that. We do have an alumni class that tends to donate virtually nothing. But
oh man.
But we also do have a boosters program of men in very colorful suits and shoes of many different animal types and colors. But traditionally, again, you have to understand. Some of the students in my in my academy have they've been practicing their trade since they were 5 years old. We've got the videos to prove it.
And another question that we had was there any connection between the Eagle Bust Down Twerk Academy and the stripper rallies that we saw happening out west?
Listen, we settled that suit. We settled that suit. There was never any factual proof or evidence that there was a pipeline from my academy to stripper poles across the nation. There's been no proof of that.
They're trying to link that to you, but I'll go ahead and let you pass on that one. Another question that one of our other guys asked, he's loosely connected with the Coonocracy here. You know, he's one of our brothers from another mother. He just wanted to ask, do you all fly the stars and bars on campus?
Well, of course. We have a specific class based upon the Patriot booty drop. How are you going to express in a venue such as ours your patriotism without the stars and bars? Okay, we are 100% capitalist, 100% an American company. There is no red flag flying over here. Che Guevara has never given me $1.
All right, J.I., you got to save us from this Coonocracy that we in right now. you got to save us,
Well,
J.I. You got the mic.
Respect for the academy. I hope to see it flourish directly with Dr. Umar's academy. I believe that he should be brought in on it if possible.
Funny you should say. There's been a surprising influx from, I can't say specifically his academy, but addresses adjacent.
I think we're in business. Then. But with this whole topic, I don't even think men should even care what these women are talking about. They're just hypocrites from top to bottom. There's nothing genuine about anything that they're talking about. First, out of one side of their mouth, they'll complain about Nelly's video objectifying Black women. And then now they want to say that they want to be objectified. So they just can't get it right. They can't make up their mind.
This is coming through, Judge.
I don't think you understand. This is about equal opportunity exploitation, okay? Equal opportunity exploitation.
Well, there's a question that's coming through, Judge. They're asking, is it true that the class pictures and the yearbook is actually a picture of stripper poles?
Look, okay.
The individuals on stripper poles?
See, this is what you have to understand. This is what, by the very nature of our academy, right? Traditionally, the class pictures are having the students or the students and alumni facing the camera. By the nature of our business, that doesn't serve us. So the backdrop must be sexified. It has to be sexified. Okay, we have to show a little bit of chocolate up. Okay? So the poles in the background aren't actually poles, but they are a dancing apparatus that we tend to utilize in a lot of our classes. And because of the nature of the business, we must show off the product. Therefore, the pictures are taken with the classes and the alumni facing away from the camera.
Now you said, Judge, that you did not accept sponsors, but we have pictures of you doing a handshake deal with Obsidian for some. It's called Black Behinds Matter Masculine Energy Oil.
No, see, that's not what that was. That picture, that's not what that picture was. Okay, that was a handshake agreement that we would not step on each other's copyrighted claims. Okay, copyrighted claim. I will not touch his product. I will not touch his product. He will not stand. Look, he will not step on my hashtag Black Cheeks Matter.
Well, of the ladies coming out of the WikiWeave a consortium. How do you answer that, Judge? You said you didn't have sponsors.
Listen. Just because 99.93% of our students happen to have WikiWeave, does not mean that there's some sort of tacit agreement or backdoor kickbacks, or that I get a check in them, or that I get an envelope full of money at the end of each month. That's not what that means.
Hey, Judge, can I ask you something?
Look, I'm feeling a lot of questions here, but fine. Go ahead.
Okay.
Some of this is trade secrets here. Some of this is trade secrecy. You have to understand, I must protect my business just a little bit, man. Next thing I know, everybody's going to have a busted down eagle out in Twerk Academy.
My beta male friend wanted to just ask you a quick question. Hold on. Hey, bro. This is the question I have. I'm a beta male, but I still can't get a woman.
Black Uru, you gotta say this. Black Uru. All right, first off, Jerome D. He says Academy Yearbook scratch and snip. Oh, but okay. Who? I think SKC dropped off. He says Academy Yearbook scratch and snip. All right, Black Uru, you gotta save us, man.
That is an intriguing idea.
You got to save us. You got to save us, man. It's all
a very discomforting position of having to follow up that performance. So, if you don't mind, Bernard, I'm going to go back to the 50 cents thing, because I think there is some relevant. There's some relevant information there that I don't think enough effort has been spent in terms of developing. You know, when I listen to 50 Cent describe his preference, and I heard him describe less about the differences in the natural physical appearance of, quote, exotic women. And he seemed to be focused more on the behavior and maybe the differences in the behavior and the styling of, quote, exotical women. But when the women respond, they almost always go in on the fact that she just light-skinned did, or she is mixed, or she is non-black, or whatever. So they kind of conveniently avoided dealing with what he was saying. And that is the behavior of many black women, or at least many black women that he encountered, is something that he seeks to avoid, perhaps based in large part on his own personal experiences, and which appear to include even some reproductive errors to some degree. So,
go ahead.
Well, I mean, so I think it would be a good idea to focus more on the behavioral issues or problems with, quote, the modern black woman or whatever, when we get into these debates about exotic women versus non-exotic women. Because, you know, when you deal with, a lot of times when a man deals with a different looking woman, he's not just after her because she's different looking. A lot of times he expects her to behave differently than the women who look the other way, you know. And a lot of black women don't necessarily want to accept that that's an element of what's going on.
Right. Red Alert says, y'all on one today, boy. Yeah, they was clowning. I put the link back in the chat if SKC wanted to come back on up. I don't know if he dropped off on purpose. Excuse me, dropped off on purpose or by accident. But the link in the chat. Anybody want to come up? We're doing it very open panel style today. But no, yeah, you said some good things, and damn it, I was about to. Okay, my mind ain't working today. I keep forgetting what I wanted to say, but real quick while I gather my thoughts and remember that, let's hit the like button. I don't know where the likes at. I haven't looked, but I'm just assuming that they ain't where they ought to be. Can y'all see where the likes at? Because I don't even got my YouTube channel, my YouTube page up. Where we at on the likes? Where we at?
It's at 117.
117. Okay,
I got
so we like a third.
So yeah. I have 315 watching, 121 likes.
Yep, I 126. Yeah, we on the way up. Let's get these likes up. Before we move the conversation forward. We heard from Zilla talking about what's the name of the academy one more time?
Look, I first I must say I don't appreciate you just sandbagging me that way with Mr. Supreme Coon of the Coonocracy.
Hey, I didn't know he was coming in with an ambush, man. I had no idea.
Look, I feel like Tommy Sotomayor on Vlad TV right now. That's what I feel like. But I'm going to take you at your word that you didn't know it was going to happen. No, but I am looking at you a bit side-eyed.
Yeah, I apologize for that. I had no idea, but
I thought you had a little bit more love for Judge of the Beast.
I do,
man. Down Eagle Out and Twerk Academy. We do have your picture on file here.
All right. Okay. So
salacious headlines wanted to bring at me.
We just want to make it known at the Coonocracy that we do not hate the Turn Up Eagle Bust Down Twerk Academy. Actually, we are silent supporters of it. We were actually inquiring to see how that we could
pandemic that we've been under.
Deal
and do you guys see coming to the academy in the near future?
You Borgen, bro.
Green machine. You're Borgen bad, and I don't even know if you could hear SKC because you cut him off and you was Borgen pretty bad.
It's okay. He's using the Wi-Fi at the Turn Up Bust Down Academy.
Oh, okay, cool. That makes sense.
I'm in the middle of the woods.
Version, not if he would have asked, he would have got the password, which I'm not going to give over the air because I know how y'all are.
All right, Brian Randall, thank you for that super chat. But no, what do y'all think about what Black Uru said? How was 50 Cent's comment? Was it more about culture or how the women act, or is it was he just talking about, or do I feel like he was mostly talking about just how they look? Because he did.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, go ahead, Joe. You go ahead and start it off. We can go
right. To be honest, I think it was kind of just like you said, because of how they act. This is the thing. 50 Cent, he got a black baby mama. When he first started off, he was around a number of black women in the videos, all that type of stuff. But you got to understand, over time, a dude is going, if the behavior is not what a man wants, especially when he's at the top of his game, he not going to want to put up with it. Like, that's the thing. I was on Instagram the other day, and it was like a clip about him talking about Vivica Fox or whatever. He made a post. He said, "I ain't been with you in 17 years, and you still stalking me, worried about what I'm doing." That's a shame. Now, with that being said, Vivica Fox, you 50-some years old. You worry about a dude from 17 years ago. You still ain't married. You still talking ratchet. That's exactly why 50 Cent not with you. It's more so the behavior than what they actually look like.
Well, hold on. I'm glad you brought that up because I did want to respond to this. I can't play it because I can't risk part 2 of this conversation getting taken down, just like part 1 did. But see, here's the thing. Lisa Ray brought up something really good when the 4 Washed Up Divas was talking about this. And Claudia Jordan, who in a snapshot is technically one of the exoticals that 50 Cent, is talking about having a preference for. But she's, she's claiming blackness. So she was making an argument, and I'm not on camera yet. That's coming in the future. That's coming in the future when I get my whole studio built up. I'll be cammed up for y'all. But right now I'm not on camera, so I can't see my expression my bodily impersonation of her. But just imagine a lot of hand movement and neck moving with what I'm saying, what she was saying, when she was basically like, they saying they don't want a woman to be able to challenge them with this or that. If you ain't giving no pushback or this or that, they want a woman to be weak and this or never. No, and she was just going off and everything like that. And Lisa Ray basically said, yeah, that right there, that's what he's saying he don't have a preference for. The way you're talking right there, do all that body movement, all the hand gesture, the neck and this or that right there, what you just presented is what he's saying he don't like, and he's entitled to not like that. Now that
and
part
Mr.
right
Bernard,
there, Lisa Ray kind of got in their ass because she was basically saying the man got his preference and y'all are demonstrating with y'all reaction what it is that he don't like about this whole combative nature that a lot of y'all got. And Claudia Jordan looked like one of the exoticals that he's claiming that 50 Cent is saying that he want, but she's just, you know, wearing the banner of, you know, she's gonna fall, she's gonna die on that sword, she's gonna die on that hill, fall on the sword, die on that hill, for this, you know, bad argument that men are somehow supposed to like that the combative woman. But that was my, you know, little analysis on that. Are we gonna
Can I piggyback off that real quick? Real quick.
We'll go to you real quick. We'll make it quick. We gotta go to Green Machine and go around the panel on this one. But real quick, JJ says when 50 Cent repeat date foreigns, he is 50 Cent. When regular black men travel aboard to get 9s and 10s, he is a incel. Interesting.
Get out of there, bro.
But
get out of there, JJ.
No, I was just gonna say this real quick. Now you see how negatively the BW speaking about 50 Cent. Now watch this. That Cuban girl that he with now, she an IG model, whatever, too, or whatever. But watch this. You can't name one instance where she went on a public platform and said something negative about him. That's the difference.
Green Machine, what you got, man?
My question was about the Academy, but I'm gonna let that rest for right now.
I have a serious question, Bernard. If you don't mind, Green Machine.
Yeah, go ahead.
Has anybody, and I'm not, this isn't a rhetorical question, I'm asking because I really want to know. Has anyone ever seen some well-known black dudes on a television show or some type of event and they're talking about who black women date when they date out?
No, we don't care enough.
No, we don't care about that thing. Not at all.
I mean, out of all of YouTube, we can't find not even one instance of this.
I can't
think
recall a
so.
single one.
No, I mean, why would black men concern themselves with that? I mean, that's just the furthest thing from our minds. I mean, we do what we can do. We get who we can get, and who we can't get, we just move on to the next opportunity.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've never seen any successful black man lament in public, on television, on the radio, on the internet. Where have all the good black women gone? I've never heard.
No, I'm just like wondering where's the circle of black men that are talking about you know, who I don't know, Serena Williams' husband is, and you know, sipping the tea on him and all this other stuff.
Well, to me that falls into the same banner. You know what I mean? Like, who is this successful woman dating, or who are black women in general dating? But that falls into the same banner. So that would, to me, fall into the same banner of where have all the good black women gone, or where have the good women gone? Like, that's, you know.
But SKC, this go to that what I say about they love us so much they hate us. Like we gonna always be the center point of their lives, like the main focus, no matter what we do and no matter what they do.
If I may here real quick, I've got to get to work here. But Bernard Riley, we actually one of our at the Academy, one of our areas of business that we've had to capitalize in to make up for the loss in business of videos and other genres and such is the Cam Soda, Cam Pop, OnlyFans, Twitch division, and therefore, should you need some references, perhaps some discounts upon your equipment, or some lessons in how to set it up for most efficiency to make those dollars rain, we are running a discount on those 3 programs this month. You'll get a 15% discount.
Judge, do you have a second? We have 2 questions that came in really quickly. They're not long at all. The first one was, how are you responding to Twerk Lab cleanliness in view of the coronavirus?
We actually have bypassed the water and the sprinkler systems so that Purell comes from them.
Oh, okay.
So we Purell the entire surface of every classroom in between each classroom.
That sounds great. That sounds great. And then the last one was, what does
by overpressurizing as well.
What does the black eagle mating call sound like?
The black eagle mating call. It's a similar sound to punching pasta, to punching a large bowl of pasta.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. All right, man. We gonna.
I respect your platform, Mr. Riley. I hope you take me up on that 15% discount. We would be honored after. I mean, after your years of patronage. I mean, come on. It's the least we can do.
That you gotta get with Obsidian on that Academy, man. That needs a full commercial. That you.
Well, Bernard Riley. I mean, come on. After over the years, I mean, at least 20 girls would not have graduated had it not been for your support.
Yeah, I got a picture of me up in that.
Well, you know that, man. We had the ceremony, man. We asked you to come by, but
Yeah. All right, man. All right, look, man. I gotta drink some water on this, man.
Do y'all still serve hoe cakes for lunch?
That got me choking, man.
Hoe cakes with chocolate milk because come on.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna skip down to Little Big Nate, man. Let's see what Little Big Nate got on this one, man.
Hey, gentlemen.
What up, Nate?
Hey, gentlemen. How you gentlemen doing today?
All right. How about yourself?
Good.
Doing fine. I have a question. I've got a point that I haven't heard many folks bring up in this colorism debate.
Mm-hmm.
Where were the thousands and thousands of black men riding into Ebony, riding into Jet, riding into the Pittsburgh Courier, riding into black newspapers all across the country during the 80s and 90s as black women abso-fucking-lutely lusted after anything that looked like Al B. Shore or the DeBarge family? They were completely fucking preoccupied. They were completely preoccupied with light skin and quote unquote good hair.
They're still preoccupied with good hair.
I never heard a fucking peep out of black men at the time. I don't know how old you gentlemen are. I'm 45 years old. I remember being in the line of Key Food, which is a supermarket in New York, with my mother, and I'll Be Shore's on the cover, and my older sister losing her shit when she saw it. Black women lusting after light-skinned black men with good hair, and black men didn't say a fucking word.
One correction, Little Big Nate. There was less than that after light-skinned did it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah.
I often get the English language incorrect. I'm sorry. But I can't stay long, but I would like to hear you gentlemen's perspective on that. Those of you who are old enough to know that there was a time when a Wesley Snipes was absolutely a persona non grata among black women as far as his looks are concerned. His money, of course, made up for the fact that he was a dark-skinned black man, but we had millions, and gentlemen, I mean millions of black women just losing their shit over light-skinned black men. Well, how many black men got a jerry curl because of black women's lust after quote-unquote good hair? Do you think black men wanted that shit dripping from their heads? Or were they doing it trying to make themselves more appealing to many black women? Because in Black America, black women run it from top to bottom, gentlemen. That's what I've got. I would love to hear you all's opinion on that.
Well, I'm old enough to remember when it came to black women's preferences. Yeah, I'm old enough to remember when the light-skinned men were in and they were the thing. And I'm old enough to remember to see. I was young, I was a kid, but I remember the transition when darker skin on a man became gradually more popular, you know. And I'm 6'1", not extremely tall, but tall enough to say I'm tall. So being a tall, dark-skinned, you know, athletically built, not that I'm just some chiseled up dude, but you know, I used to play sports back in the day, so you know, so yeah, I've been some women that, you know, they have that preference where they like a tall, darker, you know, muscular built built man. They like some women, they literally have that preference for a dark skinned man. So I know that, and I benefited from that, you know. So
where was the outrage from black men is my point.
I know, I get that. I was just
Yeah,
fast forwarding to you know, it was a transition point, but going back
absolutely,
now, I'm going back to the 80s now, going back to the 80s, that yeah, it was a huge thing. And there was no outcry. We got in where, you know, men got, you know, you get in where you fit in. You're going to get what you get. You're going to compete. You're going to compete for what you can get, and you're going to win or lose what the market wants. That's what the market wants. And if there's a lot of people that don't want what it is that you have to sell, then you're going to sell to who's buying. It's just that simple.
So when these women have their channels and they go on their diatribes about black men's preferences, just hit them over the head with this.
Mm-hmm.
Hit them over the head with this, and it should end the discussion. We really have to stop listening to a lot of black women. I mean,
that I definitely agree with.
We really do.
I mean, I you know, I'm probably the oldest person on the panel. I remember very much the DeBarge era.
No, sir. 1936 here.
Okay, the Christopher Williams era, and you know, I remember all the clamoring for light-skinned dude. I guess Prince kind of fit in there as well, and there were a lot of sort of lighter-skinned men who got a lot of attention back then. And as I think Little Big Nate said earlier, or you know, you just get in where you can fit in. Yeah, if you know, I briefly had a Jerry curl myself in the early 80s.
Oh, damn.
And I did quite well with that Jerry curl.
Well, you know, this
I did very well with that Jerry curl.
Well, hold on, Jack. You mean to tell me? You mean to tell me that your Jerry curl was not a protective style?
You know, but like you said, I think, you know, you, to the extent that you can educate other young men, particularly other young black men, about the pitfalls of the rhetoric and propaganda of females in general, black females in particular, to the extent that these kind of discussions can help prepare and indemnify them against the effects of much of that, I think it's a good thing. I am very circumspect, however, about the value of actually really paying attention to what women say, especially black women. They all are about confusion and misdirection, and in many cases just outright lies about what their motives are, what their behavior is, etc. So they'll tell you one thing, give a very convincing story in so doing, and be operating totally opposite of that. You know, because see, here's the thing.
Judge,
I remember the complaint.
Hold on,
I remember the complaints about black women being objectified in the videos in the late 80s and in the early 90s. So for them to now then complain about not being featured in those videos, again, I just consider that to be propaganda, misdirection, you know, just lies.
Well, a couple things real quick here. Shout out to Game Changer. Like when I see Game Changer come in, that lets me know that the West Coast is waking up. It's 8 a.m. over there, so always like when they always like when I see the people that live on the West Coast making it in. Also where I'm at, we're right there. That's what I'm looking for. Judge Zilla says, damn, losing my voice here. Just so everyone knows, that was completely improvised on the spot. No prior knowledge or rehearsal was performed. Thanks for being a great sport, Bernie. Laughing my ass off, man. Absolutely, man. You killed it. Like that was one of the best improv stand-up comedy bits I've heard live, and yeah, that was excellent, man. You gotta put pen to paper on that. Hand it over to Obsidian. Let him make a commercial because that shit was funny. That shit was hilarious. But thanks for the super chat, and shout out and salute to you for coming through with that that little stand-up comedy bit you did. And SKC improvised perfectly with you. That shit was funny. Oh man, yeah, that was excellent. What I wanted to say as far as Well, I talked about that. How yes, Lil Big Nate is absolutely right. Black men didn't care. It was a transition where dark skinned men did become, kind of the thing. And I don't think it's impossible that dark skinned women can improve their image, so to speak. Now, what I mean by that, let's look at Lupita Nyong'o. I think I said her name right. Let's look at her. Most people would agree that she's an attractive woman. She carries herself in a very elegant, feminine way, and she don't get labeled with all the stereotypes.
She's not black. She's
not ADOS.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's colorism, not ADOS-ism. It's colorism. So
well, but again, I'll go back.
Hold on. Let me make sure I lay out my point. She conducts herself in a certain type of way, and she gets all the accolades. And I heard somebody argue. I'm not going to argue this, but I heard somebody argue, and they probably were right, that she's getting added an extra point or two. She's an attractive woman, but they're putting her. They talk about her like in the sense that she's overly just glamorously just gorgeous and beautiful. No, she's definitely attractive. I definitely like her. I'm attracted to her. But that she's a demonstration of how, yes, you could be dark skinned, and depending on how you act, how you conduct yourself, how you carry yourself, you won't get labeled with all the stuff that they say that they're labeled with just by default of being dark skinned. So they can change how they're viewed, and they got not full creative control over it, but a lot of control over it, because if they're not getting objectified in the rap videos, as the video that I presented in part 1 of this, they're not being objectified in the rap videos, so they can't blame it on that anymore. The commercials that we see normally show black women with natural hair, normally darker women. They often show them in scenarios where they're with men of other races. So commercials, TVs, and advertisement is presenting dark-skinned women well. And a lot of the times when we see black women in movies and the media and everything, it's a lot of black women that have a hand in that. Not to mention their own personal individual social media. So they can control this shit to some degree, or they have a lot of control over it. So I'm saying all of that to say, just like we did see a switch from the 70s and 80s era, and then in the 90s with Wesley Snipes and Morris Chestnut and all of that, dark-skinned men became, the thing. I do see how it's culturally, socially possible that dark-skinned women could, flip the switch and become more of that thing. I do see that as possible. But right now, what's going on and the way they're going about it ain't the right way to go about it. They're seeing an example with Lupita, somebody who's definitely cute, definitely attractive, but she's carrying herself so well that she's being added extra points. That should be a shining example for darker skinned black women.
And
example.
I have a point to that, Bernard. First of all, most of the attempt by dark-skinned women to attribute their lack of access to quality men to their skin, it's an attempt for them to avoid the fact that a lot of dark-skinned women are obese, and a lot of dark-skinned women have horrible attitudes. A lot of black women across the board have horrible attitudes, but among dark-skinned women, there seems to be an even larger grouping of these types of women. I'm sorry, it just appears to be that way. And for what you lack in aesthetic beauty, ladies, you can make up for it in femininity and cooperation.
That's sort of my
that's what I'm talking about. I'm speaking to your point.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you lack in aesthetic beauty, if you are extremely cooperative and extremely feminine, I've often said, give me a cooperative 7 over a bitch 9 any day. Any day. And I think 90% of the men would take that, especially if you're talking about a long-term relationship.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But Nate, that's my bad.
No. Go ahead, bro.
I was just gonna say, and that's the reason we having this discussion today, though, because they starting to realize that security blanket that they have in black men is going away. And something else I was just thinking about too, how the lady just was saying her kids watch that kind of stuff. I really wish this wouldn't happen, but we talking about the black woman, so we know this probably gonna happen. If you got a small like black boy watching that kind of stuff, when he grows up, he gonna grow up to kind of do the same thing, and that's gonna the generation after me, they gonna continue to go out to other cultures and stuff more than what they are now. You know what I mean? So they realize like that thing that they always lean on the black man, even when they talk shit about him, because we gonna always be there. They starting to realize that security blanket it's going away. It's just a matter of time before it's completely gone.
We've pretty much gotten to the point where we're just over it. We're tired of the abuse. We're tired of the downtrodden talking points. We're just tired. And once you get tired, you get indifferent. And once you get indifferent, you make things happen.
These women have been telling us literally for 40 years that I don't need you. They've been saying, I'm the mother and the father. They've been saying, I'm not going to listen to no man. I'm strong and independent. My body, my choice. And then out of the other side of the same woman's mouth, she'll complain about protection. She'll complain that there are no good men out there. Many of these women are walking contradictions. You literally cannot reason with them.
And that's the thing, Mr. Nate. That's the thing. They wanna keep that going. So they want to keep that notion going so that society can still look at us like, oh, even if you give a black man an opportunity, they still want to do shit with it. That's so they can keep that narrative going. So we can't do what we're doing now, which is leave.
Black women,
on the colorism thing, what I wish black men would say flatly, okay, yeah, I prefer lighter skinned women. My body, my choice. I can choose to have that preference. This isn't something I'm going to negotiate with you.
Your mama black.
I don't give a damn what color my mother was. That doesn't have anything to do with what I choose.
We birthed you,
my mate. And
anti-black.
Has anybody to choose this light-skinned woman for whatever reason? And you can attribute it to slavery or colorism or racism or Jim Crow, whatever.
You hate yourself.
Has anybody? Is what I'm gonna do. This is who I'm gonna be with. Damn, whatever you think and say about it, and you can't stop me.
Has anybody ever properly dealt with just how I don't know, sick that kind of is to bring up the skin tone of your mom when you're out on the market finding somebody to date, to be with, and ultimately stick your dick in? What your mom looks like should be the furthest thing from your mind when you're trying to find somewhere to put your dick. I don't understand that. Has anybody ever properly? I might have to do a stream on that. I don't understand that part. Like, I'm with a dark-skinned black woman. The skin tone of my mom has nothing to do with it.
You tell me, Bernard, that you're not attracted to your mother?
No.
You don't have Oedipus complex?
No.
Yeah, that I was just gonna say that. That's
real quick. Let me shout out my
pay them bills.
Hold your thought, JoJo. I'm going to you next. Just hold your thought. Chief Rocker, I did look up those two women that you put right there, and yeah, they're cute. They're cute. They're cute. I don't know. I can't remember exactly why you mentioned them, but they he said check out MSNBC's. I think you're referring to me when I was talking about Lupita and how a woman could, be dark skinned and carry herself well, and carrying yourself well gets you a few extra, like an extra 1.5. I think that's what you were attributing to those women, because they weren't drop dead gorgeous, just runway models, but they were cute women, definitely cute, and if they carried themselves like Lupita, I think they definitely would get preference. But anyway.
But Cameron Hall has a white husband.
Oh, okay. I didn't research all that. I just
that may be relevant. So I don't know. I don't know about the other woman, but I find that to be somewhat ironic given what we're talking about.
And Bernard,
there you go. That's not ironic. That we could damn near say that's typical.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but hold on, real quick. Let me get through my super chats. Mace Tagger came through with a super chat. Appreciate that very much. Says Bernard Riley, morning mega star, and the panel living a bachelor's lifestyle, fellas. No women, no kids, just peace and quiet. Amen. God is great. Yeah, that bachelor lifestyle can be very peaceful. Salute and shout out to those of you who are living that. I'm not even gonna get into the marriage thing because I know it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Understand? I like families. Families are a good thing, but listen, I'm with everybody on all the arguments as to why, marriage is problematic in modern day America. I don't know how to square that circle with, the need for families and marriage being, the shit show that it is. But we're working on it.
Bernard.
Let's see. Hold on real quick. Tony07, he says, but were they clowning Nelly for degrading them on the tip drill video? Interesting. All right, I think that covers all the super chats. When we're going to go to JoJo. Somebody in the private chat dropping a lot of messages. I got to see what that is real quick. But go ahead, JoJo. You got the floor. You got the mic.
So the thing is, y'all had to understand, like, the woman don't think from a logical standpoint. They go based off of feeling. Now, we have to, I know this is going to sound bad to say, but we have to accept that the women in society, they have an Oedipus complex. How many pictures and how many videos have y'all seen of a woman twerking in front of a child, teaching their kid to do something sexual or just doing something outright nasty with a child? You see it on social media all the time.
All mothers do that.
Mine don't.
Who said all?
But no, I'm just saying, like, we try to think of them like, oh, they wouldn't do something like that, but that's really what it is. They got that complex about themselves, and they feel like a child should love their mother more than anybody else in their life. That's why you got some mothers who have issue with the son girlfriend, because it's like he taking the attention away from the mama and the girlfriend getting it. They don't like that. They want to be the number one thing in the son's life. Whether that be mentally, physically, or sometimes even sexually. Like, that's why they try to use that, oh, if she doesn't look like your mother, something's wrong with you, because they feel like their child should have that attraction to them before anything.
Okay. Yeah, that's weird shit. I mean, you tried to explain it. You tried to rationalize or psychoanalyze why they say what they say. I still can't square that one either. I don't understand it.
It's just a Hail Mary guilt trip type thing.
There you go.
All else fail, use your mama against you.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
All right, to the new panelists. I don't like your name. But go ahead. I'm about to see if you're a troll, so go ahead. You got the mic.
No, I'm not trolling.
Okay, so go ahead. What you got to say on the topic?
Why are you guys complaining about women?
Because a huge demographic of our people do that shit, and men getting tired of it, and it needs to be changed. And if don't nobody say nothing about it, it's gonna continue to happen, and the community is gonna be more fucked than what it is now.
And also,
why are you on the panel? Hold on, Mr. Bernard. Why are you on the panel complaining to dude?
He asked a question. Don't let's not. Well, I heard somebody say something. I don't know if that was you, JoJo. It was two people talking. I thought I heard somebody call somebody a bitch. I like barely heard that in my ear. It could have been in my head.
I ain't say that.
Okay, I'm hearing things. Okay, so he's still in decent conversation territory. All right. Yeah, you can answer. Well, I'll briefly answer, then I'll pass it to you. I hate that question because it's kind of a stupid question, because this is essentially a talk show, and on talk shows, people tend to talk, and when they talk about something that they disagree with, then that disagreement could be viewed as a complaint. So why are you here complaining about this thing that you disagree? It's a stupid. To me, it's a stupid question, and of course there's better reasons as to why we're talking about this, why we're talking about Black culture. To try to narrow that down to complaining about women. This whole conversation started from me analyzing a video that a Black female YouTuber made, talking about how she was essentially talking about colorism and how Black women are overlooked And when it comes to rap videos and the video vixens and all the video vixens are these exotical, either Latin or biracial, mixed race, if not full blown white women. And she's complaining that the black woman is not put in the video. So I'm just asking the question, why is it that they're complaining about not being objectified to the same degree as biracial or racially ambiguous women? That's the question that we're asking, and that's a question that we can, it says a lot about our culture, because no other woman is complaining about not being objectified.
So you're escaping what you're doing.
It's a discussion about Black culture and the outcomes of overall fuck shit that goes on.
We're collectively fighting back against what has been generations of propaganda, warfare.
Complaining is fighting back.
Yes, everything.
Like
everything. Complaining is
just
part.
mimicking women.
Complaining is a part.
Complaining without action.
Well,
Can I chime in?
Complaining leads to actions. Complaining. The start of the United States started with a complaint about taxation on tea. Every great enterprise, every great effort starts with people getting pissed off and say, damn it, this is what's really going on. I'm not going to take it anymore. I don't like this, and I'm going to do something different. I'm going to think something different. We have black men have for decades been under psychological, propagandistic warfare has been operated against us. Policies have been written, laws have been written, domestic violence regulations, all these things have been created on the basis of black women complaining about black men.
Where were you?
I was here.
Just
doing what?
This sounds like just a creative way. Hold on. This sounds like just a really creative way to just try to get us to shut up. You don't like what we're saying. You want us to not say it, so you're trying to find some convoluted way to just get men to stop talking about it. Like that's all that's going on here. Go ahead, Little Big Nate. You got it.
I have a question real quick.
Well, no, let's go to Little Big Nate. I know you got a good question, SKC. We're going to you next.
Okay. Kuman, for approximately 40 to 50 years now, black women have had complete and total access to every major mainstream media platform in this country. Not only major media mainstream platforms, but they have had Ebony, Jet, Essence, every black publication, even Black Enterprise, all lean left and cater to the whims and needs of black women. There has never in the history of this country been a place where black men can express their issues with black women freely and unhindered. And we can't even do it on YouTube, to be honest with you. Okay? But in the last 5 years, let me finish. In the last 5 to 8 years, in this small sector of YouTube, black men have congregated to tell black women the truth. Now you say, well, what are you doing about it? There are hundreds of thousands of black men said no thanks and they're walking away. That's doing something about it. And if there are also black men who still would like to be with black women, ADOS or otherwise, and in order to create an opportunity for us to ever be with them, they are going to have to correct their behavior.
No, they're not walking away. They're incels.
And the only people that is attempting to correct black women's behavior truthfully is this platform. I know of no other. Go ahead.
Okay. Black man cannot get black women.
Black men cannot get black women.
This is what this is all about. This is what this is about. Because now they come back with babies and they want you, and then you're complaining because now they were babies. They were implanted by someone else. That's what you're complaining about.
All right, dude.
Come on.
You done.
Wait.
I do want to SAC. I'm sure SKC had a very creative question. I'm gonna hear SKC, then I'm gonna get rid of him because this is it's a clear troll city. But go ahead, SKC.
Yeah, and I I love it, but
I know that's not passing it to you.
yo, Cuban, you said that complaining is like women, right?
Yes.
Okay, so why do they have an HR department at every major company where you can file complaints? Is that only for women?
No.
Is your name Kuman or
Oh,
Kuman?
so if major businesses understand the need for individuals to file formal complaints, why did
To
you
report
state that?
theft, to
Why did you
report
state that?
damage to
Why did
property,
you state that
to report
complaining is a
that's
female
different.
action?
That's different. To report theft to the business, to report damage to property, that's different.
It doesn't have to be just theft. It could be an argument with a employee.
That's some new age bullshit.
Hey, Mr. SKC, I got this. So, Cuban, let me ask you a question, bro. So you said you don't like when people complain, right?
When men complain, they don't do anything. They just sit down, they complain, they complain, they complain,
look,
and they release that emotional
you said
pain.
you don't like when people complain, right? So what do you call it that you're doing right now? You came on a panel to complain that people complaining. What does that make you look
No,
like?
I was asking a question. I wasn't complaining. You all are complaining.
You complain. Joe got a point. You are complaining right now, but instead of complaining, what are you going to do about us complaining? What are you going to do about it?
Exactly.
I'm addressing it. I'm addressing you as men.
Yeah, you're complaining. You're not doing nothing.
I'm addressing you man to man.
That's complaining. You're complaining.
Doing something with running the channel.
You need to do something to stop us from complaining about it if you don't want us complaining about it. But complaining to us about complaining about it, you're just complaining like a woman. What are you going to do?
I'm addressing you man to man, and you're doubling down. You're doubling down. You are like a woman right now.
Hey, so Kilman, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, bro.
All right, no, we done.
All right,
I got the pump pass and kick his ass up over here. Shit, but I
wanted to make a point real quick, Bernard, to your point about the mother. During the 30s, 40s, and 50s, who was it that implemented the paper bag test? And oftentimes, the person implementing it was actually darker than the paper bag themselves.
You said who implemented the paper bag test?
In the household.
In the household? I didn't know it was a paper bag test in the household.
You didn't know there used to be something?
What? You didn't know that?
Hold on. Wait. I must have misunderstood. The paper bag test was what they okay, just explain the paper bag test.
A black mother would advise her son, don't you bring home anybody darker than this paper bag. You never heard of that?
Yeah, I heard of that, but
that's for sure.
So I said who implemented that in the household?
That would be the mom. Wasn't it true that some businesses wouldn't serve you if I heard somebody explain it to me that the paper bag test had something to do with getting also some places that's how they defined you as black or whatever. You couldn't get.
I'll be honest, I never heard that. I heard about black mothers telling their sons, don't you bring anybody home darker than this paper bag. And oftentimes the women themselves were darker than the paper bag. That was my point.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I obviously heard of that. I was thinking of it from a different angle from something that I heard.
Most of the colorist rhetoric I heard as a child, born in Mississippi, whatever, was almost always communicated by women.
Thank you.
You know, I when I was born, and in the first few years of my life, I was very very light complexion, very, very light complexion. And one summer, I grew up in Chicago. I was born in Mississippi. I grew up in Chicago. One summer, when I was around age, I guess 3 or 4, I went for a visit in Mississippi in the summer. And somehow, whatever, during that time, my complexion got darker. I never became dark, but more brown. And that sort of was like my permanent, I guess, skin color. And my mother, owned up until she's gone now, but owned up until her elder years, lamented sending me to Mississippi during that summer back in the early '60s or whatever. You know that I can't. My baby was so beautiful. My own mother, my baby was so beautiful when I sent him down south, and you know that was a problem for her. You know, that was a problem. I mean, she would mention it like during the course. She would look at pictures, in a photo album, and she would see pictures of me as a baby and as a child, and she would just shake her head from side to side. Most of the colorism. I mean, my great aunts, they would pick favorites like amongst their grandchildren based on which of them were lighter complected. And they weren't even particular, and they weren't even shy or deceptive about how they communicated favor along that basis. You know, that's why I said earlier, man, you can't really listen to these women on these issues. Most of them are frauds and hypocrites on this colorism issue. I promise you, the biggest perpetuators of colorism amongst Black people always has been and always will be Black women. And it's usually the darker skinned women. Usually.
Well, what?
And I'm pushing 60. I've seen all that. You know, my best friend is Black as any African you'll ever find. We grew up from like age 8 on up. We're both pushing 60. And the things that girls would say to him when we were growing up, were just like shit that the Klan would say to you. You know,
Facts.
I mean, this whole notion that Black men are the ones who perpetuate colorism. Man, you guys have got to push back on that issue much more so than you do. These women are fucking lying about colorism. They're outright lying, and they're using it as a form of psychological warfare and guilt tripping against you to try to manipulate in the favorable positions for themselves. And you should talk to them directly in that way, and don't soft shoe it with them. Don't accommodate their fallacious arguments on that point. They are the
Green. We haven't heard from Green Machine in a while. You was trying to get in here. Go ahead, Green Machine. You got it.
Now to link on to that point that he's making, I am that dark-skinned individual. As a matter of fact, I came out milk chocolate at birth. My father would tell me stories of he went to go check on his baby in the nursery, and I was 4 floors away from the nursery with the nurses of the hospital, white, Black, and so on and so forth. So as far as those anti-Black, dark-skinned jokes, I've heard every last one of them, and I've embraced it. But that is what that is. My question is who are the ones who checks the colors of the tips of the ears of the babies? And secondly, why is it such a issue when said child, male or female, brings home a palm-colored individual when there was a paper bag test stating that you were not allowed to bring anybody home darker than that paper bag? And that's all I got for right now.
Well, what we have to understand, Black women are professional victims. Professional. And unfortunately, not a lot of Black men, I would probably put the number about 20, 25%. You see a lot of them marching out there with BLM and Antifa. Professional victims, okay? Anything that will enable them to avoid being responsible for their litany of failures and bad decisions, that's what they're going to want you to focus on. Now, how many times have you watched? I watch MSNBC and CNN, not because I'm getting news, because I want to see what the liars are saying. I've seen several panels of Black women talking about colorism. You'll never see one of us there debating them. I've seen several conversations and articles in Essence and Ebony and Jet talking about this issue. You never see one of us able to speak in opposition to them. And then that Kuhlman fellow would want to silence the one place where black men can tell the truth. It's amazing, gentlemen. I mean, it's mind-numbing. What woman is the woman who goes around preoccupied with having pale-skinned, stringy-haired, mixed babies? It's not black men. Black men could care less about that shit. Which woman has an entire series of novels written by multiple different authors of black women, you know, this black damsel in distress meeting her white billionaire to have a baby? Do black men have a series of novels, even though we don't read, to be honest with you? Do black men have a series of novels of black men meeting his beach bunny Becky?
Uh-oh, get out of there. Get out of there, little big.
No. Stop, SKC, please. Do black men have a series of novels with some black man and his flat stomach, long blonde hair having copper skin colored Becky talking about the beautiful baby they're going to have? You black women don't have a fucking leg to stand on when you're dealing with a man that knows the truth. I'm sorry. And all you have to do, gentlemen, is take these facts and just hit them over the head with it. They run. They run. They'll run to their own panels. They'll run to their Good Morning America panels, their CNN panels. They'll never come here and debate us. No, they'll sit in the chat and not say nothing. And they'll hate listen, but the facts are on our side, as they usually are.
Yeah, and that's why I say you should unabashedly defend your position with them, because as you described, Little Big Nate, they have so many avenues to perpetuate their disposition that you can't go easy with them on this issue, because you have so little opportunity to defend yourself and your position. It does not help you to delude yourself into thinking that you're dealing with an honest broker. And that's why I say when you communicate with them, look, to the extent that other men are gaining an understanding of what they're dealing with, I think that's a worthwhile endeavor. But please do not delude yourself into thinking that you're going to have a fair and honest conversation with most women. They're just not capable of doing that.
No, sir. No, sir. I hate, I'm going to bring it to politics, and I know y'all hate this shit, but this is what you get when your women pledge their allegiance to Democrat and feminist ideology. I'm sorry. This is what it produces. It produces an incalcitrant, uncooperative woman who is going to tell you what to do. I was on, I think I was here and I said it when I did the Donald Trump thing. Black women are telling black men to suck their dicks. This is, look, please. If you go to Solo TV's community tab, he got into this issue with a woman named Janaea Moore, this early 20s. She's an attractive young lady, light-skinned little girl who wears a feminist t-shirt. A young black man they were commenting in the YouTube comments. She said, "I'm not going to watch a 5-hour bass session." This brother named Cordell said, "Well, why don't you just unplug from the internet? You don't have to watch it." Her response to a black man who had said and done nothing wrong to her was, "Shut the fuck up and suck my dick." If this is where we are, gentlemen, it's almost over. It is almost over.
Okay, Little Big Nate, you said something earlier that I want to go back on and slow roll, because it goes into a specialty of my field. When you said books that are printed, and there's a massive genre on that whole thing of, black woman with whoever and their baby and
the white billionaire.
And it isn't even that they're married to the individual, they're the side chick. And okay, so let's slow roll that in this. Before a book gets printed, what does the editor have to do to make sure that book is a success?
I would imagine you did market research.
There's a market for them.
Material.
Market research. Now,
Market research,
how do they perform market research?
I'm not sure in the literary field. I'm not sure how they do it.
In the literary field, they actually do free short stories. Also, they check on smaller genres of book clubs, and they, poll those individuals about different subjects that they would like to read about, and then they see how valuable that of subject matter would be to them as a publishing house.
Okay.
SK, you know how they also know? They know what most black men don't know. That when we're not looking, there are legions of black women somewhere. Maybe we think they're at work. Maybe we think they're vacationing. Maybe we think they're shopping, running off somewhere, fucking some white dudes. That's what they know as well.
Okay. Okay. So these publishing houses or whatnot have looked into things. They've done their market research. They've looked at the same TV shows that we used to see growing up as kids. All of the stuff that they see in media and how black women react to it, because actually Gideon was correct when he stated, if you look at the Nielsen ratings, they also do stuff like social media tracking and so forth, and black women are the largest consumer of those things. They also track subject matter, which is how those publishing houses are able to recognize that there is a definite want, a marketable want for individuals that are saying that they are black women and they are interested in just having the baby of different races of men. They're wishing to read about it and to fantasize about it.
Well, but then that's where BGS did more to his credit, has done quite well in delving in the whole issue of black women being the bred concubine of the country. So there's that element. Look, as I said earlier, there are things going on with black women. There are things going on with your sisters, your mothers, your female cousins that you don't necessarily know about and don't necessarily want to know about.
Yeah, your boy Cumin said that his connection dropped, and he was saying all lies, Bernard.
But these people, his connection didn't drop. He got booted. So I don't know what you mean by connection dropping, but whatever.
I mean, the people who publish them books,
more like Hogan leg drop.
Yeah. Hey, y'all talking some good stuff when you're talking about those books that they
Oh yeah, I go to any Walmart or
no, I've seen
Target
those books. Hold on, no. I've seen those books. We know those books exist, but when you talk about why those books exist, it exists because somebody did their research and found that there's a market for it.
Absolutely.
And then that's something I never thought of.
Yeah,
I just thought that it was just a small amount of black female writers who probably just shot from the hip and made something about multiple black female authors who shot from the hip and made something about their own little personal preferences, kink or fetish or whatever, and then some women just picked it up and bought it because it was the whole book business is a lot deeper than that. It's not. We really don't see nothing by accident. If there's a market for something, it was well researched that this is going to sell.
I can tell you,
and highly edited, Bernard, where it goes through editors, and the editors have to tell them, no, this isn't. It doesn't have enough this. It doesn't have enough that. We need you to expound on these particular sections, and it comes into the realm of formula fiction. So it's almost like the Fabio books that people used to see in the Walgreens and the different drugstores or whatnot growing up, Well, these are the same thing, but for Black women. And there's another section of those books as well, which focuses on them wanting thugs.
Oh, wow.
I can explain the biracial book market.
Hold
that you
on,
all
Black.
described.
Hold your thought real quick. Let me handle a little house business real quick. Brian Randall, thank you for your super chat. I appreciate that. He says, "Little Big Nate, did you start your channel yet?" Little Big Nate, answer yes or no to that question.
It's coming, bro.
It's coming. Little Big Nate will be starting a channel, and I'll do a show with him. We'll highlight. We'll get him well promoted because we definitely like the heat that he bring in the Black Manosphere. Definitely needs his voice and to be in the mix in the game. Also, Mo Mohammed didn't say anything. I was about to say he said he didn't say anything. He just dropped a super chat, which is great. I appreciate that. Thanks for the super chat. Earlier when I was on, Ohini Mora from Male Enlightenment TV came through and dropped some super chats. I meant to drop his link in there so y'all can subscribe to him. A lot of y'all may be already with him. I mean, he got like 5,000 subs. He don't really need my help, but that's my guy, man. He noticed me when I was first, when this channel was like the little YouTube channel that could. He one of the first people that had a little platform that noticed me and and shouted me out. So I'm always indebted to him for that. But just want to drop the link to his channel for those who aren't subscribed to him. Go ahead and check him out. Also, Counselor Murray says, "What's up, fellas? Little Big Nate in the building." Let's see who else is in here. This Kuman dude is in the back chat. I'm having a hard time banning him for some reason. I don't know what's going on with that. But dude,
I can explain the biracial.
He's talking and trolling. Let me finish this up real quick. Little Big Nate, did you? Okay, I already read that one. God damn it. Okay, hold on. Gotta make sure. All right, we got that. Also, if you missed the original video, because as you can see in the title, this is a part 2. There was a part 1 that got took off the air because I was using somebody else's video, a small YouTuber that probably got a couple hundred subs. I don't know, but I was using one of her videos because she was talking about something that I found interesting, and I guess she got the video flagged or took down. So that will be appearing on my Patreon and on Black Avenger. If there's a moderator that got the links to my Patreon, drop that in the chat. So I'm going to be putting that on, not Black Avenger, FS Avenger. So be looking out for that. If you missed the original source material of this conversation, I'm going to be dropping that, or you can find it on my Patreon or FS Avenger. It'll be probably done by the end of today. So with that said, I think Black Uru is waiting to speak.
Well, I think I can explain that biracial book market with just 2 words, the existence of it with just 2 words. Jason Polk.
Ugh, disgusting.
I mean, that event tells you how prevalent that sentiment is amongst us. Now, again, we don't necessarily see it, and part of it is we don't really want to see it. I mean, we don't really want to believe what Jason Polk represents, but the truth of the matter is that's just a microcosm of what's going on throughout much of the country. And look, the easiest thing in the world a woman can do is get fucked. So what's going on is you have a not insignificant number of Black women that are carrying on in secret, or relative secret with white men in ways that make the making of a book or fictionalizing it. I mean, yeah, of course, if I know that this is what's going on amongst millions of them or whatever is the sentiment amongst them, I can very easily connect the value of that with publishing books about it, because I know what's going on. I know, the Black women are blowing me in the broom closet at work or whatever when nobody's looking. There's stuff going on, right? And is manifesting in the sugar baby phenomenon as well. Women you or you think are engaging in some subterranean sorts of behavior. and they know about it, and they just use it and they put it in a book. And there have been a few movies where they've tried to sort of tap in like this sort of young fiction, little black or biracial girl and a white boy. You may have seen some movies like those recently.
Yeah,
You know?
SKC, you had a screen share that you was trying to put up there. You can bring that up and make whatever point you want to make about that. Jalen Roddy, thank you for the super chat, and he says, if the women who complain about colorism are the ones who are team divest, could it be that colorism is really just an issue for wannabe swirlers? Good question.
Colorism is about taking your choice away from you while they get to choose and screw anybody they want to choose and screw. That's what colorism is.
Uh-huh. All right. Well, so what we got
and
here?
Mr.
Go ahead, ask the question real quick, Joe.
No, I was just gonna make a statement about the thug thing that y'all was talking about as far as the books and stuff like that. Like, I played football. I was a linebacker at U City High School. I'm 6'2", about 204. Like, I'm a solid big black dude, like dark skinned dude. But something that baffles me is, I know I grew up in the hood and all that type of stuff. But when I go places, like, I know how to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I talk different from my homeboys and how I talk to y'all and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But what was crazy when this was, before the corona thing started, whatever, I went to class one day and I keep it professional, in school and stuff like that. But I went in or whatever, right? And this girl came up to me, we was talking and stuff like that. And when I spoke, you know what she told me? You sound so proper. It's like she expected me to sound like one of these fake ass wannabe thug dude. And I told damn, what's that?
When a thug has feelings.
Somebody got some background noise.
That might have been me. I think I got it under control now.
But yeah, she was like, "Why you talk like that?" I'm like, like, what you mean? She was like, you don't sound like the typical hood dude. Whatever. I told her, I'm like, I say, my people from Mississippi. I'm a country boy who just happened to grow up in the hood and stuff like that. But it's just like, for you to just say, I don't sound how you thought I would. Like that just shows me you already thinking I'm gonna sound like one of these bum ass dudes anyway. You know what I mean? They think dark skinned dudes just already ain't shit off rip.
Well, Joe, you supposed to order the new book, Creeping on the Pastor.
All right, we got to go to SKC so we can explain what we're looking at here. But James Hudson says Jason Pope piped 700 black women and not one black dating coach called it out because I think he means white men are more select than black men to most black women's. All right, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Now go ahead, SKC. SKC, what the hell are we looking at here? What's going on?
It's the dude one from what Hidia Clark, where you're supposed to honor thy thug.
Uh-huh.
that comes from the New York best-selling author of Justify My Thug as well.
Bro, this cannot be real, man. That's crazy.
yeah, just like I said, I need you to pick up Creeping on the Pastor. Bro, you need to pick that one up. You need to go get When My Thug Has Feelings.
Oh my God.
Cause I got while y'all still showing the book, I'm gonna say a quick story real. This when I was 15 years old, bro.
Wait, hold on, now, real quick. Hold on. Let's wait for a second on that story. Father by choice.
Okay.
Father by choice.
What is that? What did that even mean? What are you talking about? What?
You almost got me. Sorry, I brought this up.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Wait. Can you guys find what I want to read the back of that book. Like, what is that about?
See, you gotta do a show on that, man. I'm saying
Father by choice
on where you just read the backs of all of these books.
Book. It's gonna be the book back.
Yeah, we have a book club. Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah. Swept away.
It's gonna be Backhand Book Club.
These are awesome, man.
Yeah.
There's at least 2 movies on Netflix that got something to do with a slave master romance. Like it's at least two. One of them is called Palm Trees and something. I can't think of the name of it. I started watching it by accident and then figured out what it was.
Oh my god!
And then
he said, "Don't worry about it, girl. I got you."
Oh shit!
And she's pregnant. Wow. Black women are really quiet.
Go back to the I've got you. We got to hold on. We got to talk about the I've got you a little more.
You want that one?
No. Just make sure we're on the same page. The implication here is she got pregnant by somebody else, but some white guy, in a suit, coming swooping in saying, "Don't worry, I got you. I'm gonna take care of you."
Read it because it's pretty small, but he said, "When he raised your child as his own, you got a good one."
Oh wow!
Do you know what this all
is that by the writer of Fathers by Choice?
No, these are two different writers.
Oh, like I said,
Child of Mine.
These are multiple different
from the classic. What's the rock band? I forget. Maybe I need to just show this and play "Sweet Child of Mine."
Sweet child of mine. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
This speaks, gentlemen, to the level of delusion of Black women. She is quite possibly the most delusional. The American Black woman is the most delusional woman on this planet.
You didn't know about
what? One thing that kind of went under the radar, that show, Queen Sugar, Black female writers. One of the Black women in that show was some de facto Black Lives Matter activist who was in a relationship with a married white cop.
Wow.
Okay. And this is, Queen Sugar is a fairly popular show. If I understand it right, I watched the first few episodes of that, and then I tapped out and was like, all right, I'm good. But and then once I figured out, because it's a lot of things going on in there, because it's a guy in the show who's a single father. That's the brother of the Black Lives Matter activist chick. Then it's another woman who's the sister of those two characters. I think her husband was, in the NBA, and she was a sports agent, was his agent, and he had some controversy where some woman got raped in a hotel room, and he was there and allegedly involved in it. But so there was a lot of good stuff going on in the movie. But one of the subplots was that relationship between the Black dark-skinned with dreadlocks, pro-Black looking Black Lives Matter activist who was in a love affair with a married white cop. Who, so
wow.
Hey, Bernard, the top 10, Bernard. You got to get Billionaire Surrogate. You got to get Star-Crossed Lovers. You got to get I can't even read that one. Love Revival. Passion Overseas.
Look at her.
The baby he wants.
What? Say that again.
You even got to get her Billionaire Russian. You got to get all of it.
Oh wow. Her billionaire oligarch.
They are creating a universe with this shit.
There are hundreds of titles, hundreds of them that I've seen. Hundreds.
They got their own Marvel universe going on here. Alternate reality.
A bedwench Marvel universe, yes.
Yeah.
Now, look, I wouldn't say
I
would not argue that these books represent the mindset of all or most Black women. I'm not able to make it.
Hold on, time out. It represents the mind of enough to where there's a category and a topic. If there's a category for it, it represents the mind of enough of them.
Let me finish making my point, because we don't disagree. The point I would make, though, is that you're right. But to take it to the next point, here's the thing. You don't know if you're involved with someone who this type of material would be attracted to. That's the thing.
You know what?
You think you want into a relationship with...
Except my baby.
Maybe. Gentlemen, get your passports.
Black
Get your
Uru.
passports, bro.
Jesus,
Well,
they didn't do that to
hold on,
Rick.
little big Nate. You say go get your passport reports. I was in a relationship with well, not relationship is a strong word, but I was dating.
Situationship.
Yeah, there you go.
Situationship.
With a woman who was from a different country, and she was from Kenya, and she mostly, prior to me, she mostly, if not exclusively, dated white guys. Now I've heard her now keep in mind, I didn't know this whole genre of books exist, but when she's alluded to her, her preference for white guys, and I do got some understanding how if you grow up in a third world country in Kenya, you see a Western man that represents a man that has more money. So it's not just some superficial social dynamic like it is here in America, because the average white guy ain't making that much more money than the average black man. If we scrape the top 1%ers off the table, or top, like I said, it's like a $10,000 difference. That ain't making or breaking anybody's life by getting with somebody of a different race, if we're talking about a potential $10,000 raise. But either way, she did have I wouldn't be shocked if I went digging through her closets and found a bunch of these books, because I've heard her say some things, I've heard her friends say some things. I'm not even going to get into it on the air, but I've heard her allude to a lot of things that implies that she had more or less a fetish, for like, so yeah, it's Black Uru, you on to something when you say you don't know if you meet a black woman if she has this type of shit going on in her head. I believe I met shit. Now you got me thinking. I think I can name at least 2.
Zaddy.
Yeah, you got to get the critically
Zaddy.
Black woman, white male pregnancy romance by Jamila Jasper. Zaddy.
I thought that was a term we made up. I didn't know Zaddy was a real thing in their lexicon.
Bro, this is baffling, man. I mean, I knew it happened, but it's like, damn, it's like this.
Hundreds of books, gentlemen.
Yeah, they're not gonna print many of these types of books unless lots of women are buying.
Hey,
Now,
you know what's crazy? My bad, Mr. Uru, go ahead.
Well, I know I was about to speak.
I was done.
No, I was just gonna say, as far as like these books and stuff, I definitely know it's a lot of girls in my generation reading this type of stuff. Cause you know what's funny though? They always talk about we do this, black dudes do this and do that, and they say they would rather have a white dude, but it's like none of them ever show proof of actually being with a white dude.
But they do be with them. You just aren't seeing it, bro.
No, the white men whore them out. That's what the white men whore them out.
Yeah, I mean, oh no!
Wow.
You cannot make this up.
Oh,
But they just be a little
that's
more
just wrong,
subliminal.
man. That's evil. That's evil.
Wow.
The lack of finesse, the soft touch with this, like come on.
Yeah.
It's
No,
like,
they
for
just
example,
going at it with a
Here's
5-pound
hold
sledge.
on.
it's
Here-
literary ratchetness.
Here's a good example. It was a movie called Something New with Sanaa Lathan,
Right.
where she ended up with a white dude, and it sort of just it just organically happened. The movie was about that, no doubt about it, but it just wasn't dealt with in the most stereotypical fetishized type of way. Or the movie Guess Who with Bernie Mac and Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah.
It's a way to go about it where you ain't just exposing yourself. Like they really tell it on themselves with this shit here.
If you know the facts, there's not a black woman in this country that can stand and debate with you, dude. They literally do not have a leg to stand on.
Now, little Big Nate.
Of their argument.
Little Big Nate. She medically couldn't get pregnant until he gave her twins.
Hey, y'all know what argument I hate hearing?
Hold on, do it literally say that in that caption?
Yes, that's on the
Oh,
front.
bring that in, dude. Bring that in.
the least fertile man on the planet was able to do that. Wow. Okay. Good deal.
That's
Okay, I'm all the way leaned in. It says she medically couldn't get pregnant until he get. Wow.
Yeah, he got that.
And
He got
look,
that super sperm.
Now, at some
I'm a-
point, what they're going to do is they're going to combine the thug genre with the white zaddy genre, where the thug actually is the father of the children. That white. That's what they're going to do.
Oh, get out of there! Get out of there!
No,
That's the
get in
best
there,
seller.
get in there.
No.
That's something for us to exploit.
DJ Kid was a white thug. DJ Kid was a thug. He fit the stereotype.
I'm saying, we can get that money though. Get that money.
So is that are y'all saying? Oh shit, captured? Oh no.
Yeah.
Black women should be embarrassed. You should be embarrassed, ladies.
And this is exactly why my generation don't want nothing to do with them, bro. This is exactly why.
I want to
that's why I say
explore the
just
thug thing a little longer. So, are y'all saying if they merge those two genres, are y'all essentially saying that the ultimate goal is to get a thug white dude that's going to provide like the corporate white guy, and that way they get the best?
But here's the problem. Here's the problem.
Claimed by the wolf.
But Bernie, this is the
White
problem.
wolf billionaires.
Usually, they have been alpha widowed by Ray Ray at around 18 or 19. So they got to be able to combine, that with, okay, I had Ray Ray's kid and billionaire daddy loves me so much he's willing to take me and Ray Ray's kid.
And
so
he
they got to
still-
combine
and,
both.
And the ultimate ice on the cake is that he still lets me go back to Ray Ray to get pipe
Yes,
down every
of
now
course,
and then.
because he's a
No,
thug.
no, actually,
And he enjoys it.
Can
He
I chime in
enjoys
on
it.
that?
He likes to watch.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They really do
There
that
you go.
though. They do that.
Actually, yes, it's called cuckoldry. She'll invite, he'll tell her to invite 5 of her studliest black friends over, and he'll sit in the corner and jay off while watching them ravage her. That's the ultimate.
Yeah.
I did a stream where I talked about that. Now, let me just make it very clear. I've never participated in such event.
No.
But I have met some white women that
They got the white thug.
that were okay, that were down with that kind of shit, and it was propositioned. I declined.
Yeah, I had a couple of them off.
You mean you didn't want to be a bull?
I no, it wasn't about to be some weird, creepy looking white dude in the corner of the room watching. No.
Breathing hard. You ain't want the hard breathing?
No.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I remember working
No.
with several white women where they would openly talk about swapping,
Oh, well.
and I mean, and obviously it was sort of an advertisement. I wasn't going to swap my wife, bullshit like that. But yeah, I mean that, hey man, they have shit going on. Women have stuff going on.
But Uru, here's a hope. It says romance, an over 50s or an over 40s romance, a single mom, career woman, a future wife.
All this
Well,
speaks.
you know what that's modeled after. That's modeled after the HR, manager, or the black HR manager or office manager secretly banging the VP of marketing.
The controller.
That's going on, or the controller that's going on all over the place, by the way. So that's what that's modeled after.
Hey, Bernard.
Yes.
I got to drop down, gentlemen. I want to say this in closing. It's been a great panel. Black men, it's largely time for you to walk away. I'm not necessarily saying you have to walk away from black women, but you have to walk away from black female American culture. And any black woman that subscribes to it, advocates for it, and promotes it needs to be off limits. It is a culture of complete debauchery, dysfunction, and contradiction. And just walk away. And unfortunately,
Hold
that
on,
means
SKC, lower left hand corner. The slob. What does that say? Click on that one. All right, go ahead, little big Nate.
All right, gentlemen, y'all take it easy.
All right, little big Nate,
Wow.
thanks for coming up anytime, man. I love your commentary. Let us know when you get that. Let us know when you get that channel up. Let us know when you get that channel up.
Absolutely, gentlemen. SKC, you gentlemen take care, man.
You too, man.
You too.
All right,
Hey, I got a question too.
Hold on, what they
I wanted to ask the gentleman.
slob who lives down the hall, a sexy interracial black woman, white man romance, short story. Why is it the slob that lives down the hall? Is that like, even
it don't matter. It don't matter that he's a slob.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
No,
Y'all know what I hate.
That's even better.
If you're turned on by dusty white men. That's the subgenre.
Go to that one, 2 away from the slob. What did that say? It says, I think it says defending
my monster.
So wait, they not Dusty Beta Malcoons?
She's kind of getting a thug and a zaddy with that one at the same time too. Kind of. Yeah.
Hey, y'all know something I hate. Now, y'all know how when we had these arguments, they try to say, "Oh, back in the slavery days, the woman saw the black dude getting abused, so they lost respect for him and stuff like that, right?" But with that being said, you telling me you got turned on by the person who broke your family away? That makes sense. Like, I hate when people say, "Oh, slavery caused the woman to stop believing in the man." So, like, look, this is my thing. I don't think they ever believed in the black man off rip from the beginning of time.
Right.
Like, if we being completely honest.
Well, I mean, if you went really black, oh wow! I think that's a Tyler Perry joint right there.
Oh wow!
Tyler Perry wouldn't even do that. I'll give Tyler Perry more respect than that. He wouldn't go there.
But Joe, to address your point, look, if you go real black pill, and kind of delve into the whole notion of hypergamy, and the fact that we've been set up in a system that has placed black men at the bottom of the totem pole. From the beginning.
What we got going on here with this comment? It says the author didn't really write these in most cases, hired ghostwriters. All the books are the same. What are you trying to say there?
The author is not relevant here. It's the person who buys the book.
Version of the two.
The book can be written by.
Yeah, I know it's ironic that she would know that though.
That's not relevant. What's relevant is
Joe. He says it's ironic that she would know that.
Yeah, she read them before.
And maybe not just read.
And that's what she coming in kind of deflecting there.
There you go. That's what the propaganda. That's what the misdirection
on Black Female Fuckery Defense Force.
Yep, that's the propaganda.
No, she the chick that
the trilogy right here of The Lucky One, Bad Boy Daddy, Playing Hard, and Asphalt Kings.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But M. Stewart, explain in chat. We give you a chance. You can explain in the chat how you know what you know and what difference do it make. You can explain that one in the chat. We ain't gonna beat up on you because you've hit the super chat a couple of times or two when you've been here every day. So yeah, you can explain yourself. We'll give it a listen. We'll hear you out. We'll hear you out. She says, "Yes, I am a ghostwriter." Okay.
So has she written these types of books?
Okay, so she's saying she's in the industry. I thought that was Fantasia, that chick right there on the touch of class.
Right.
But no, at a glance, once I really looked, I was like, no.
Now, Mr. Bernard, no disrespect to the lady, bro, but y'all see the colorism thing I was talking about earlier. Y'all see it.
You know what it is, Joe? What it is, man? I think you're just jealous.
Of what?
Get off of here. Do what you gotta do to get dressed. I think I'll probably trim your hair up and something.
That is funny, but
No. Okay, I line you up bare minimum. Line you up and just fix it. Because I don't want to shed hair like a dog. I just lined you up. All right.
But yeah, I mean, this is what you guys are dealing with out here.
I thought I was on mute. I was talking to my son.
Y'all
wasn't supposed to hear that. I was telling him I was going to cut his hair.
But Joe, to your point, yeah, I mean, if you believe in hypergamy, if you believe that the female mammal inherently goes to the male that has the most resources or most powerful or leverage within that particular society, then I mean, I guess just straight up black pill, why should we expect any real sort of enduring loyalty from them?
But Mr. Uru, this is my thing.
Hold on,
Okay, let's say.
Hold on. Ask that question again, because the question got to get unpacked a little more. Lasher Deviance Gaming says these nasty hoax hoes got a whole genre of swirl movies and books. God dog. All right, ask that question again. I was a little distracted. I was dealing with something with my son. Ask the question again. What's going on? What was the question?
Well, I think Joe's argument was that he don't believe that they've ever been loyal to us at all in history. Is that what you said, Joe?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And my point was that if you look at it really sort of black pill, and if you believe hypergamy is real, then you could argue that they shouldn't be loyal to us. We're at the bottom of the social economic power totem pole, and that if the natural tendency of the mammalian female is that to defer to the more powerful, more resourceful male, then you can argue that they shouldn't be loyal to it.
All right, let me tell you why that doesn't make sense to me. A black woman is not getting with the universal collective monolith of white men. If she gets with the white man, she's only getting with one white man, and she has to judge that individual white man on his individual merits. If she gets with a black man, she's going to have to judge that individual black man on his individual merits. So it doesn't.
But she goes out into a world. She lives in the world. She goes to a bank. She goes to buy a car. She goes to buy a house. She goes to the grocery store. She goes all about the world. She looks at a military. She looks at an economic system. She looks at who writes and enforces the law. She looks at the police department.
Oh, well, hold on. But
she lives in the world.
Wait a minute. We heavily participated in the military and the police
we
force.
Participate in those. But if you look at it just visually and particularly from the perspective of the female, because women are particularly acute to where the actual center of power is.
Okay, but this is what you're doing. You're extrapolating the power to write a law down to the regular average Joe everyday white guy. If it's some white guys in power who are writing laws, and those laws are, I don't know, going to outlaw abortion, the liberal white guy who thinks abortion should be legal, he's not getting what he wants. He has no power, and the only power he has is a vote, and the only money he has.
You're thinking
hold on. The only money he has is the money that he makes from a job where he goes to work for somebody else. So the only way your argument can make sense is if they're dumb enough to look at the top 1%ers and or the lawmakers and extrapolate that down to Joe Smo, who actually wants to deal with them.
And to piggyback on Mr.
You're right. You're wrong.
That's why you
had to respond.
Hold on. I gotta hear Black Uru.
You're looking at things too logically. Women are emotional thinkers primarily.
Okay,
they think with their feelings. They see the world very differently. They don't think and operate in the world in the logical sense that you just described here. They just don't. They see the world, they visualize or feel that things are a certain way, and then they respond on that basis. That's why you have the genre of books here that SKC has presented. This is a manifestation of that delusion that you just described. This is a visual manifestation.
Okay, but if
most white men are not rich and powerful successful and built and whatever. But from their perspective, at the very height, at the very top, the very best I can get, this is a manifestation of the very best I could get in this particular environment.
Okay,
Whether
so
it's right or wrong.
hold on. Well, if you're going to make your original argument, you should make it. You should preface that it's an illogical, irrational thing, and it sort of speaks to what Nick O is saying. He says, "Bernard, stop it. Group level dynamics matter."
Well, I assume
not really, because you don't marry the entire group. It's almost this is what these arguments sound like, and swirlers make these arguments. So I get a little upset when black men make those same arguments. Hold on, let me flesh this out. I'm not even necessarily responding to you. I'm responding to him now, but I throw it back to you. It's basically saying, okay, the guy who owns Chili's or whatever, or Applebee's or whatever, I'm quite sure he's a millionaire, probably a billionaire. He has a lot of power. But when you start talking about that group dynamic stuff, what you're essentially saying is the white guy who gets paid to wash dishes. Cut it out. Quarantine was a celebrity who bought what? Get out of there, SKC.
Wow! No, you created that. That ain't real. That ain't real.
Get these David Carroll memes out of here, man.
Mr. Bernard.
I'm done with it. I'm done.
Well,
we moving on.
You know, don't.
I don't know. Wait, I want to know. Hold on, real quick. I want to know how those group dynamics matter.
Don't
black woman gets with the. No, I want to understand this. How do these group dynamics matter? Black woman gets with a white guy that makes $50K. What is she getting other than an American man who the only power that he has is one fucking vote and a $50K a year job that he gets from working for somebody else? How is she coming up? We have to stop extrapolating that overall success and power that some white men, a very small percentage of white men have, and extrapolating that down to regular Joes. That's where that white supremacy, downtrodden, we at the bottom, oppression Olympics mentality comes from, when you view the white guy who you make more money than as somebody higher up than you. That's what a lot of us are doing.
Bernard, with respect, you're confusing my description of these phenomenon with whether or not I actually agree with the tenements of the phenomenon. I am describing the mentality of the women. I am not justifying it. Saying that it's.
I thought you were saying that they were making a valid decision.
No, I mean first of all, there are reasons why historically men have made most of the real important decisions regarding human beings, because men are more logical, more organized, we're greater conceptually, and we tend to work harder. So I'm describing the tendency of a mammalian female under certain conditions. And I'm saying under conditions in which the black or the ADOS or the enslaved African female, I'm describing her likely tendencies based on the conditions in which she was brought into and bred into this particular environment.
Right.
I'm not justifying her behavior. I'm not justifying her decision making. I'm just explaining.
No, understand.
Can I jump in?
And let me say this. And it was a few people. The conversation got a little intense, so I didn't read every super chat. But thank everybody who sent those super chats. Y'all can keep them coming. I see Black Wolf Inc. is coming through with another one right there. KS says Bernard is thinking too deep. Black women just respect the white skin and good hair. I think that's the point that needs to get driven home. That the ones that have these intense swirling arguments and read books from this genre, that's really what it's about. It's not economics. It's not about power. It's not about resources. They have something else going on in their head, and we shouldn't make arguments to sound like we're validating it in one bit. I mean, just even in the least bit. But if we're going to go all the way back to slavery, which a lot of us black folks like to do, go back to slavery with these arguments, you never hear me, like a lot of people in this space, be making arguments where they be criticizing black women during slavery. You notice you never hear me do that. because in that desperate situation, back against the wall, you don't got freedom. The men of your race don't got freedom. What a woman do in that situation, if it was ever a moment to give somebody a pass, that was it. I mean, that's where I'm at with it. I know I've heard some compelling arguments, but I don't go down that route. So if you're talking about back then, yeah, if they had to do what they had to do to get in the big house and whatever they had to do, ethical or unethical, to get their way in there to get a better life, then that's one area where I just say is what it is, whatever. You know, I'm not even going to go down that route. But if we talking about today, no, I can't give an inch. I can't give an inch on that type of thought process today.
Can I jump in?
Not even a centimeter?
Can I jump in real fast?
Okay, I'll give him a 16th of an inch.
But I think something that we missing too, as far as like these books and stuff, what we doing, we missing, like what Uru just said about the hypergamy thing. What we missing is you got the good dads versus good genes. Now, this is something I was just thinking about. Now, we keep talking about how they want to go to the other side and do all this and that, right? It's because the white dude universally known as a good family man or whatever. But with us, like, because this is the thing. Now, if we're gonna use what Uru said, and they want to do that because they think the white man better and stuff like this, why do they keep having kids with the majority of us? Because it's good genetics. Now this is what we get kind of confused at, because we say they getting with the white dude because he white. Now let me ask you this: if they could pick a dude who now you got a regular white dude and you got a black dude. Let's say the white dude in shape, he got money. The black dude got in shape and got money. Now we're not gonna use the husband thing. We gonna say who would they breed with and who would they have kids with?
They would breed with white kids,
black.
They would breed with the white dude.
I can't say that because the majority of them had kids with black dudes. They can talk. They can talk.
The majority of them are in the environment with black dudes, and with a certain population of black dudes that are much more inclined to impregnate them. That doesn't necessarily mean if they had the opportunity to become impregnated by some choice Brad Pitt types that they wouldn't become impregnated by them. Of course they would.
Which kind of if any of them could get impregnated by a more higher value black man, they would, if they could.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Bernard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead. We got to wrap this up soon, but go ahead and put the question out there. Go ahead.
We're gonna use 50 Cent. We're gonna use 50 Cent before he made his comments. Now we got 50 Cent right here, and we'll use Brad Pitt like you just said. Okay. Now you telling me they wouldn't have kids with 50 Cent before Brad Pitt? We just going off passing good genes, just passing good genetics.
I am almost certain that upwards, all other things being equal, all other opportunities being equal, I am almost certain that upwards of 75% of those women would have children with Brad Pitt.
What?
I would go the other way. I was
just about to say that they're definitely impregnated by 50 Cent.
I am almost certain because of the light skin and maybe hopefully blue-eyed child.
How you doing, man?
You know, because he's very good looking and he has blonde hair, and maybe my child will have blondish hair. I am almost certain, all other things being equal, they would opt for Brad Pitt.
The reason I say 50 Cent because it's the best of both worlds. He turns the crank more and he got the same money. So that's why I would say 50 Cent if I had to pick one on that. But fellas, we got to wrap this thing up real quick. A Black Uru, if I misrepresented your argument, my bad. But
I think we clarified it.
Okay, cool. Got you. Yeah, that's something that I kind of talk about a lot on here. But with that said, I'd like to thank everybody who liked, shared, subscribed. Everybody who came back after the first video got took down in less than 20 minutes. We got the same audience back in here and even more. So that's showing a lot of love. Got nothing but love and respect for you. I appreciate all the support. And like I said, the original video that got taken down that you won't be able to find on YouTube, that will be on the FS Avenger and my Patreon. And So go check out my Patreon. Go ahead and sign up and become a Patreon member. I just got a new Patreon who came in at the $1 membership part, and I don't even know how, because I only got a $5, $10, and $25 part. So I don't know how he became a $1 Patreon. He put in the contra code on my Patreon page. I don't know how he did that shit, but I got to figure that out. But I appreciate his support. I forgot his. I got to look up and see who it is so I can put him down there scrolling across at the bottom. But yeah, go check out my Patreon. I'll be adding some content to that. I see a lot of people shouting.
Hey Bernard, can I ask you a question?
What's up? Quickly.
Who was smashing Robin Givens before Mike Tyson married her? Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt?
Yep. In fact, he was living with her. She was the one that was making the money. He was just the kept white dick.
Oh,
didn't nobody even know who he was at the time.
Get out of there.
Look back on it.
Wait a minute.
Look back on it.
Hold on. Are you literally saying that Brad Pitt was literally a bottom shelf Brad?
He was one of these novels, one of the novels that SK.
Those
of us who are older know this to be true.
Hold on. This was before Brad Pitt became famous and started making a lot of money.
Yeah, he was just slinging dick at.
So he was just a regular. He was just a
black girls.
He was just a regular broke white dude named Brad.
He was a hobosexual.
He was a hobosexual. Yes.
He was literally a bottom shelf Brad. Wow.
For black women.
That's funny.
Yeah. So don't tell me,
King. Hold on, King Sigma. If you listening, you got to do something on that. That's right up your alley, man. That's your territory right there.
Look it up. Google it.
I need.
The last thing I'll say, Bernard, is
King Sigma on that one.
The last thing I'll say is, with all of these books, can we just put the nail in the coffin that whole argument of black women are the most loyal to the race is just ridiculous.
Yeah, that's
Never
done.
have been.
That's done. That's done. But hey, we got to get out of here, fellas. I think, we got to get out of here. All right, peace, fellas.
All right, thanks,
man.
Take it easy.
Hey, Ms. Bernard, I just want to say one